So in this video guys, I'm actually going to give you a reason why I believe the price of Bitcoin still has a lot of potential to continue further here in an upward direction in the upcoming days, because right now if you monitor this price movement starting here from 2011 till 2021, you can see very clearly, if you just use the rising trend line to monitor the each and every price movement, you can see starting here from 2011 in a weekly time frame, we started following this rising trend line, right? The price was slowly heading in an upward direction, but as soon as we started a new trend direction, leaving this rising trend line, started a new trend here in upward direction, the trend here started to become even steeper and steeper, right? You can see as long as we were holding this rising trend line, the trend continued in an upward direction, but as we broke out of this rising trend line, trend here started heading to the downside. And again, before we started a new impulsive move in upper direction, what happened with price action? Pretty similar to this one guys. You can see the price here also started to follow this rising trend line, and also with the time you can see the trend here started getting steeper and steeper. So what happened after this move? Just like here, we started a new trend duration, which actually indicated, hey, as long as we are following this rising trend line, the price here still showed a very nice impulsive move to the upside. And now, if you look at this price movement starting from 2019 till this 2021, what I'm actually going to do is I'm going to add this rising trend line just like here, right? Just like here. You know, this here was a black swan event from last year, March. So if we would have ignored this, the price would have more probably seen more like a consolidation around this rising trend line, just like here, right? Just like here. So my point here is, if we look at this one, what it is actually flashing us, we are actually making another impulsive trend just like here guys, just like here. So as long as we are holding this trend line, right, it is still showing us the prices could continue way higher. And why? Because on my previous video I included this Bitcoin logarithmic growth curve, because right now if you look at this price structure using this Bitcoin logarithmic growth curve, you can see very clearly what I was actually trying to prove here. You can see here guys, whenever we started following this rising trend line here, this rising trend was also the baseline of this Bitcoin logarithmic growth curve. So in the lower line area we had a really nice support, so that's why we saw more like a consolidation scenario before we started this new impulsive move. And look at this, when we started this new impulsive move ended after price reaching the top of the channel, and then we started a new trend which was a bearish trend, right? So now let's look at this here, where the price found support at the lower line or the bottom line of the channel. Similar scenario also unfolded here, this rising trend line. If you follow this rising trend line, consolidation type of scenario before we started breaking here in an upward direction. And this breakout here, this new impulsive move, you can see also ended exactly after reaching the top of this channel. And after that you can see price correction here from 2018 and 19. And look at this, just like with the previous example, this was also more like a consolidation type of scenario here. Just ignore this black swan event, because you can see clearly the price here was also holding very strong around the lower line of this channel. And just like here, after finding support at the lower line area or this bottom line of the channel, we started a new trend just like here guys, and just like here. So this is also flashing us that if this trend is going to continue, with the previous example the price has reached the top of the channel. If we don't want to look at the top, we will at least test this yellow line, and this yellow line was the 76.39 Fibonacci level. So in our case, this might be around 64 to 63,000 price level, because in the past Bitcoin price action, with every impulsive move, the price here always tested the yellow line as soon as we broke out of this red line area. You can see here, right, before even testing the top of the channel. If you look at this previous example, you can see here as well, we broke out of this red line, and as soon as we broke out this red line, we also tested the yellow line, which is the 76.39 Fibonacci level, and also the top of the channel. Here you can see this was pretty different. I mean, the trend here pierced through the red line, which was the 61.80, and also managed to test the yellow line. So in our case, if this is going to be the similar scenario guys, even if we are not going to test the top of the channel, which could be around $100,000, if that's not going to happen, then we should at least test this 64 to 63,000 price level, because so far the price after breaking out of this red line, which is the 61.80 Fibonacci level, has always tested the yellow line, that is 76.39 Fibonacci level, before heading towards the top of the channel. So this, in a bigger picture, is clearly flashing us that Bitcoin still has a lot of room to grow here in an upward direction guys. So this is one scenario I wanted you to understand. So now let's look at this here in a daily time frame. And also guys, before I switch into another chart, I would really appreciate if you could just take 2 seconds of your time and smash the like button. And for those individuals watching this video for the first time, definitely hit the subscribe button and the bell. So if we look at this right now in a daily time frame, you can see very clearly right now we are seeing some sort of a weakness, right? Weakness to break the previous high structure. This is a very important line guys, because you can see breaking the previous high structure is a buy scenario, because I have showed you in the weekly time frame, and now also in the daily time frame, breaking the previous high structure is always a very nice opportunity to take long. Because if you look at this Livermore pivotal point theory, you can see the price here, right? This was the previous high structure. So in our case, this 58,000 around this price level was the previous high structure. So we entered the previous high structure, we try to break out of it, and according to this pivotal point theory from Livermore, Jesse Livermore, if we are also going to break out of this, this is going to give us another buying opportunity. And what I mean by that, let me show you properly with this example. If we monitor this price movement here, let me show you with this simple example. If we look at this price structure, this is the scenario what we are witnessing, and if we add this parallel channel, you can see very clearly this upper line of this parallel channel is acting as a resistance here, right? Resistance here, and to the downside, the lower line acted as a support. So now we want to know, are we going to break out of this line? Because if this is going to happen, if the price is going to break out of this, then this is going to signal another buying opportunity. And why? Because you can see here, let's go backward and look at the price structure when we had this similar price movement here as well. So if you monitor the price movement here, you can see, right, before we had the similar scenario, what I'm actually going to do here, I'm going to add this parallel channel again here as well, because you can see very clearly we had a pretty similar price structure. You can see as soon as we broke out of it, we had this impulsive move, rejection, support, right? Support, just like here. And now also here we got a rejection at the first time, you can see here, right? So we had a pullback, but once we were able to break out the previous high structure, a new impulsive move followed. And this is exactly what the Livermore pivotal point is also actually showing us. So if we are going to see any sort of rejection, let's not only look for the breakout scenario. So if we are going to see any sort of a pullback, then we should also be absolutely fine to see pullback towards the lower line area. Even if this pullback type of scenario is going to happen, I'm still very bullish in the price movement, because then this here is only going to make the trend even stronger. I mean, then the price here could be see another attempt to break, and once it does, then it's going to be similar to this one here. So that's why right now this rejection from the previous high structure is absolutely normal. So please don't be shaken out, because if you are not overly leveraged around this area, then even if the trend is going to see a pullback towards the lower line area, you should be absolutely fine, guys. So that's why I want you guys to understand what I'm actually trying to show you here, right, with this example. And if we look at this RSI right now, you can see to the downside, RSI is still above 50, but still right now we are seeing some sort of a momentum switch, but it doesn't matter, because the MACD line here is still very bullish, because you can see we just started a new bullish MACD crossover. We also had this bullish crossover here in the past, and as we had this MACD bullish crossover, we did have a consolidation type of scenario. You can see, right, pullback and then a move here in an upper direction. So you can see with this example, when we had this bullish crossover, price was still holding its ground before breaking out in a massive way. So this is exactly what I also believe the price of Bitcoin might be doing. So even if we are going to see any sort of a rejection or holding its ground around this level, once we are able to break out of this 58,000, then I believe there is a very likely scenario that we are going to see some impulsive move following after that. And yesterday I was not able to upload the video because I was very busy, but I still shared one analysis regarding Bitcoin here on my Twitter account. And for those individuals who are still unaware of my Twitter account, it's CRYPTOANUP. Feel free to follow me there, guys. You can see here, I told you guys, I still see this 1.414 60,000 and 1.618 62,000 pip extension level, which is here, right? You can see the target here to the upside as a next potential target. The price here was around 56,600, right? You can see yesterday we did made a really nice run towards this 58,000, and now we are seeing this weakness. But I still say to you guys, any sort of rejection, then this 0.618, actually it was 0.786, I corrected here below, 54,000 going to be a very strong support. So now you can see here, right, any sort of a pullback, I say to you, 54,000 is going to act as a very strong support. If this 56,000 is going to see another rejection, then we can also find support between this 54,000 price level, because we just found out that around this 54,000 there are some FIP extension level that could be playing out as a very strong support. So that's why, guys, whenever I'm busy and I don't have time to create a YouTube video, I do share some of my analysis on my Twitter account, so follow me there. So if we look at this here, this is a Wyckoff's accumulation phase, and according to this Wyckoff accumulation phase, since we have clearly now left the phase D area and heading towards the phase C area, according to this analysis, the price here has potential to continue further in upper direction. But I still say to you guys, there are going to be a lot of shakeout on our way, right? And this is exactly what we are also witnessing right now. I was actually expecting more like a symmetrical triangle breakout type of scenario, but you can see the price did saw some pullback, but it started breaking before forming this symmetrical triangle type of scenario. So now we are still heading in upper direction. So you can see, as long as we are following this rising trend line, guys, I believe there is a potential of price to continue further in an upper direction. And that was also a reason why I said, hey, there is a very likely scenario that price of Bitcoin is going to form a similar structure just like here, right? And also here with this Wyckoff, it gave me more confidence that the price here has a potential to continue further in an upper direction. That was the reason why I was actually calling this price movement before this trend even started to head here in an upper direction, because this in a weekly time frame and also in a daily time frame was flashing me that, hey, the trend looks very strong and it can still continue higher. And even if we are going to see any sort of a pullback around this area, don't get shaken out, guys. This is going to happen plenty of times. So these are some of the scenarios I thought sharing with you in today's video, guys. I hope you guys enjoyed it. I hope this video was helpful enough. If that's the case, then hit the like button. And also for those individuals watching this for the first time, definitely hit the subscribe button and the bell. So by saying this, I'm signing out. My name is Anup. Bye bye, guys.